Janna Janna Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Giri Bharadhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Oh Hariba 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 Ritta Gaura Hariba Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam Gita Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Hari 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 Om. So, we today reading and discussing nice verse, very nice verse. Maybe even related to us about different type of knowledges and of course related to the activities which are based on this knowledge. So verse is today, know which one? Can you find it? You found it. It's chapter 18, verse 21. You make it bigger? Zoom in? No? Used to be quite bigger, the letters. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Done. Prithaktvena tu yajgyanam. Tam dhyanam vidhirajasam. Prithaktvena tu yajgyanam. Nana bhavan pritagvidhan. Veti sarveshu bhuteshu. Tajjnanam vidhirajasam.
Prithaktvena tu yajnanam.
Prithaktvena tu yajnanam. Nana bhavan pritagvidhan. Veti sarveshu bhuteshu. Tajjnanam vidhirajasam.
Prithaktvena tu yajnanam.
Prithaktvena tu yajnanam. Nana bhavan pritagvidhan.
Veti sarveshu bhuteshu.
Veti sarveshu bhuteshu.
Tajjnanam vidhirajasam.
Tajjnanam vidhirajasam. Prithaktvena tu yajnanam.
Nana bhavan pritagvidhan.
Veti sarveshu bhuteshu. Tajjnanam vidhirajasam.
Prithaktvena tu yajnanam.
Prithaktvena tu yajnanam.
Nana bhavan pritagvidhan.
Prithaktvena pritagvidhan.
Veti sarveshu bhuteshu.
Veti sarveshu bhuteshu.
Tajjnanam vidhirajasam.
Tajjnanam vidhirajasam. Word for word meaning. Prithaktvena. Because of division.
Because of division.
To, but. Yat,
Yat,
which. Jnanam, knowledge. Nana bhavan, multifarious situations. Prithak vidhan, different. Veti, knows. Sarveshu, in all. Bhuteshu, living entities. Tat, that. Jnanam, knowledge. Vidhi, must be known. Rajasam, in terms of passion. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is different type of living entity. You should understand to be in a mode of passion. Purport. The concept that the material body is the living entity, and that with the destruction of the body, the consciousness is also destroyed, is called knowledge in the mode of passion. According to that knowledge, body is different from one another because of the development of different type of consciousness. Otherwise, there is no supreme soul which manifests consciousness. The body itself is soul. It's not what Prabhupada is saying. This is actually the wrong mentality is explained. Don't take it seriously. It's not like what it meant to be. No, it's going on the expansion of the mentality of the or knowledge in a mode of passion. The body itself is the soul, and there is no separate soul beyond the body. According to such knowledge, consciousness is temporary, or else there is no individual souls, but there is all-pervading soul, which is full of knowledge, and this body is a manifestation of temporary ignorance. Or beyond this body, there is no special individual or supreme soul. All such conceptions are considered products of the mode of passion. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Darati Swaparantikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Paridanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna, sorry. Needs a taste of Krishna, which says, I'm taste of water. So without tasting Krishna, I cannot speak. Need some spiritual taste. So, we have triplet verses, which are all related to three gunas of material nature. And sometimes Krishna explaining the one verse, which is covering all three modes, or just making some point. But recently we have these three verses, and it's saying, this is knowledge, and this is knowledge. And all of them three are in different modes. So those who were yesterday, they were discussing knowledge in a mode of goodness. So currently today we are discussing mode of passion. Tomorrow is going to be more in ignorance. But we will, to compare them all, you have to see them all connected to each other. Because sometimes it is said, who will be those great men? If they will be not us, the grey ones, And the background of grey people, the really great people, they are seen, Best imagine there's 20 different acharyas and sitting together. So they are all the same, But in the background of us, fallen souls, Prabhupada is extremely great personality. But a Krishna association, even Krishna sometimes looks like mediocre, because sometimes these coward boys are running around and they're playing with him games, and sometimes Krishna loses. And what he's doing, he's carrying those friends on his shoulders. So therefore, we have to understand everything is known by the comparison. Even if we know the Brahmanas usually chant the mantras in a sandhya. You know what is sandhya? Evening. It also can be morning. True. No, but Sandhya also means connection. For example, if there is Kali Yuga, then before Kali Yuga is Dwapara Yuga, Treta, Satya Yuga, like this. So when they connect each other, then there is Sandhya. So for how many years? This is like 10 or 12% of the whole Yuga is a Sandhya. It's like a gray scale, mixed together. So if we say even nowadays there is a mixture of different things, We say, okay, Kali Yuga, we usually do what? Chanting holy name. But we also have yagyas, we also have deities, everything is still there. It's coming from previous yugas like that. So therefore we compare these three and then we see better. Because if you take one thing, it's not so obvious. Okay, let's do. So we have a kind of interesting plan. When I was studying teacher's training course, then there is a simple point. Every lecture, the teacher has to have a hidden agenda, plan. What's going to be the result? In school, you have been in school, right? Anybody is going to school for exams, right? Who cares? Just you pass exams and that's fine. So every lesson is supposed to be some kind of result which at the end of class, I, as a teacher, as a class giver, have to check. So I have made 3 points. By the end of the class, 70% of you, okay, you are 10, at least 6 or 7 people, will be able to do what? Clearly explain the difference between the sattva, rajas, and tamas knowledge. 1 point. Second thing, you will be able to give one example of the knowledge in rajas. And also, something to do with the most important subject, with bhakti, you will be able to state loudly, without looking at your notes, what is the problem with this raja guna knowledge, how it doesn't help or impede the bhakti. You got the point? So I will be comparing these three. We'll be giving one simple example, and also how it relates to bhakti. Is good or not good? Or maybe excellent, maybe perfect. Okay, let's do very, very quick overview of 3 verses. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So, goodness, knowledge is quite nice. Everybody likes to have knowledge. And the main point is that knowledge has many areas. But Krishna wants to point out the most important part. How we relate to other living beings. Because subject of Bhagavad Gita is quite wider, I would say. And there's a triangle. If you put triangle, there's the 3 points. What is God? What is me? And what is this material world? And what is the relationship? Material world and God interacts in a time. Material world and us interact in modes of material nature. And between us and God, there is no connection yet. Not yet. But supposed to be seva or bhakti. So therefore it is said, this is 5 points. 5 knowledges of Bhagavad Gita is who is Ishvara, who is Jiva, who is this material world, and what is interaction. But the point between us and Lord is not yet. But there is explanation, of course, what is bhakti in the context of Arjuna and Krishna and so on. So therefore, out of these things we are connecting only one thing and not even the whole thing. Basically, it will be just us, living beings. So therefore, this is closer to us. So therefore, Krishna says the knowledge is how you look at the other living beings. So Sattva Guna, it says what? That all living beings are spiritually the same. Spiritual same. So there is no difference. Every living being has a nature of Sat, Chit, Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. But current situation is a little bit different because we are covered by our desires, by envy, by material nature, but those 3 same gunas of material nature. So there's a little bit connection with the horizontal point of material world. Current verse is a little bit different because it tells about what is Rajaguna. So Rajaguna says that person who has knowledge in such a, covering, you can take a watermelon and cut it this way, cut it this way, cut it this way. It still be round. So if you cut the whole thing on understanding, okay, how the Rajaguna look at the things. He says, everybody's different. You're different, you're different, you're different, you know. Sometimes there's a joke. You see the Chinese people and say, oh, all Chinese people look the same. Right? I think for Chinese people, all Indians look the same. No? You agree or not? You know, especially if you start giving names, you know. Oh, Krishna. You can't remember. Maybe you cannot remember faces, you cannot remember names. So you don't relate. It's so different people. But sometimes even the very, very close and similar looking are not very friendly. For example, I was just observing monkeys today. And they all look the same, right? They definitely look the same. But somehow or another, amongst themselves, they have a group. So there's 10 people, 10 monkeys, and there's 10 monkeys. And these are fighting with that one. So they divide the whole thing. They said, these are our friends, and these are our enemies. So this is the Rajaguna understanding, that you have understanding that every person is different, and there is no one thing which is, how to say, common in every person. So this is the Rajaguna. Very, very unusual when it's talking, Krishna talking about tomorrow verse. When Krishna talking about ignorance, it starts completely different. It doesn't see, not so much about living beings. It talks about a work. If someone sees his own work, what he is doing, as the most important thing, and doesn't value anything else, so therefore he is in Tamaguna. Why? Hint. He doesn't even care about people around him. You know, he doesn't see value on relating to other living beings. He has his idea how he is earning money, or what duty he is doing, or whatever, you know, artist or banker or whatever he's doing. That's most important. And all rest of it, I don't care. Whoever comes across your way, your enemy, and you just get out. You know. I'm doing it more important. You know, when you drive the most rusty 20-year-old motorbike and you're going in the highway, you're making such a sound that you're the most important person in the road, right? And all the big trucks, you know, 20-ton trucks, they have to go around because you're driving. So this is the Tamaguna. You think whatever you do, it is all and all, nothing more. So this is the thing. For us, straight away question, you know, side question. If you go out from the class and the first person you meet, what do you see? Do you see body or do you see soul? Body, of course. No. So that gives already a hint on which level of knowledge we are. Because we currently don't have this actual vision of the soul. And this doesn't come easy. This is actually knowledge. And knowledge is something which trains, which gradually comes and becomes natural. The small boy, or even like adult ladies, when they look at the car, do you understand which kind of car it is? Which brand? How many liters it has? How many seaters? You know, how fast can it go? Nobody cares. The boy may be at the age of 10. He understands. Oh, this is Suzuki, and that is the Toyota, and whatever it is there. He will understand by the brands, you know. But if you look at the guy who is repairing cars, he comes to the car, and you can hear it, like engine is running, and he's just looking here, and he's like, okay, out of these 4, the spark plug on the front left is not tuned properly and needs a filter, oil filter, and also there's some kind of, you know, spring and the first on the right side of the thing is also wobbling, something like that. He can hear that without seeing. So therefore the Shastras say you can see things through the knowledge. I think the Chanaka Pandit said the cow can see from the nose. If he looks at something, he doesn't know it's eatable or not. By the nose, you can understand it's eatable or not. By eyes, you cannot understand. The king sees through the spies. right? The Brahmana sees through the scripture, through the knowledge, right? So many things we can see through the scripture, and actually the goal of Krishna's consciousness, the Bhagavad Gita, is see through the eyes of scripture. Sometimes it's even a special term. It's called Shastra Chakshus, the person who sees the world through the eyes of scripture. So this is the goal. So therefore, when we look at the person, the more we are having proper knowledge, the more we see. It's actually spirit soul, but it's dressed in a body of Indian. And who knows, next life will be in a Chinese or American or African body. And maybe man will be woman, who knows, Maybe if we practice Krishna consciousness, we'll be human. But maybe next life will be animal. Monkey. Same one. So therefore, we can say that this is important. You're sitting so far from each other. I was having an idea that you can take in pairs and prepare some short 2-minute discussion. What is the example of Rajaguna or Tamaguna or Sattva-guna? But we can say that it's okay. It's simple. That every person who is looking at the things through the Shastras is looking very much in a Sattva-guna. At least, maybe even more. So, there's examples. The same Bhagavad Gita, we're not going to running around. There's so many quotes from other scriptures, but let's start with the Sattvic knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita. So one of the first ones in the 5th chapter was said that Pandita Samadarshana, he sees everything same. Shunichaiva, Swapakicha, whatever is the, dog or dog eater or something like that, or cow, and I think he sees same. What he sees same, in the Bhagavad Gita there's a picture. Inside there's a soul and also a super soul. So it has this vision. And he understands, okay, this is proper vision. 6th chapter says, a true yogi observes me in all living beings. Sarvatra Sama Darshana. Also Sama Darshana. Sama means also same, but also means perfect. Like we say, Sankirtana, Sam Kirtan. Or Sanskrit, Sam Skritam. Perfect creation. Perfect Kirtan. Perfect Darshan. Sama Darshana. Perfect vision. Or similar vision. 13th chapter. He ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies. He sees the same. 15th chapter. Living entities are all my eternal fragmental parts. Mamai Vamsha. Right? So these are things which Bhagavad Gita explains about this perfect vision that all living beings have same spiritual nature. But that comes only if it's connected to the spiritual idea. Because if you stay in a material world, you'll be only understanding things on next level, or next level down, on Rajaguna, because you are a body. Those who go back to spiritual world, they understand you are a spirit. But while you're staying here, you are a body. And therefore, you see every body is different. Everybody is different. So therefore, the next understanding is, I'm the doer, I'm the one who is performing activity. Because spiritual vision was, Krishna is doing and I'm an instrument. That's what Krishna wants from Arjuna. Be my instrument. I already decided the whole thing. So in Rajaguna knowledge, you don't understand. What's Krishna's plan? What he wants to do? Since you're saying, I'm the doer. Yes. 3rd chapter, I'm the doer. 7th chapter says, deluded by 3 modes, the whole world doesn't know me. Again, by 3 modes. So 3 modes, okay, but you have to understand that 3 modes are also instruments of one single energy, which is called Maya, illusion. So these are different levels of illusion. So therefore, whole world doesn't see me. Krishna says, you look at me, but you don't see me. Sometimes the kids play around, and he's hiding in a plain sight, behind the broom or behind the column, and you can see completely he's standing there, and the Father is saying, "Oh, I don't see you where you are." Similar way, also, Krishna, he sees us, but because we are covered, he's playing around with us and he says, "I don't see you, and you don't see me, so we are hiding." Next, 16th chapter. This is explained whole demoniac mentality. There was many verses, I'm the wealthy, I'm the strong, and so on and so on. But it's just one thing. I'm the enjoyer, I'm the perfect, powerful, and happy. This is the mentality of Rajaguna. And also 18th chapter, a little bit further behind those verses, 16, 59, 60. Acting under material nature, illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. So knowledge itself doesn't matter what you have. If you don't use it, so it can stay with you. You can say same thing. You say, unless the person starts speaking, you cannot understand. It's learned or fool. It's stupid. It's fool, So unless he just keeps it quiet, nobody understands. He's learned or fool or something like that. But if you start speaking or you start acting, then you have to understand according to which gunas you are. One small point about this. Usually we say, okay, it's big gap, sattva guna and rajaguna. But important point is like this, that rajasic knowledge is not atheistic. Atheistic, it means completely against the God. Rajaguna can be easily understood that it is based, and most of the time, if you want to proper Rajaguna, it is based on scriptures. Strange, right? But it is spiritual, but materially inclined. You take a scripture, but you apply for yourself on your own ideas, or for your own goals, or your interpretation, something like that. Yes.
Can we say that Arjuna was doing that at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, of course. And Krishna confirmed. He said, you are saying learned things. Learned things, that means he was educated. He was Rajarishi, he was son of the main king and the emperor, his brother was emperor, Yudhishthira, and the education was topmost, all the brahmanas and everything. But when you don't apply that knowledge properly, you fall into Rajaguna. Sattvaguna means you apply knowledge without attachment. It's supposed to be done. It's supposed to be done for pleasure of other devotees, Vaishnavas or Krishna. You don't have your own agendas, you do as a duty. Duty without desiring the result. Or desiring result, but you donate, give that result to the, Yogic Brahmana or Krishna, something like that. So these two options, So this is Rajaguna, yeah. Important point. Discussion quality. Religious rivalry can be rajasic. For example, different religious organizations, different devotional people, they have their own rivalry or competition. Is it rajasic or it is sattvic? Rajasic. Why?
They want the supremacy.
They want the supremacy. They want to be, for example, recognized as the more important. I want my name to be mentioned in a morning program. I distributed books, and that's competition. You don't want to be humble. Yeah, you want results. Either you want money result. Maybe Grihastha is distributing books, but he wants money. It's proper. It's okay. He doesn't sell nonsense. He sells books. Still, he needs money. So there's a mixture of those things. So there are mixture, religiosity, the pure scripture, mixed with your own agenda, with your own reason and motivation, is the result in this Rajaguna. Okay, tamasic. Do you want to hear about tamasic as well? You interested in tamasic? Yes? Okay, sure. It's part of Bhagavad Gita. We have to be. Arjuna is listening, and we are going to listen too. So, second chapter says, being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. So, nothing more than this is exactly what is tomorrow verse. You think your work is all and nothing more like this. So, in the beginning in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, which is whole overview of Bhagavad Gita, is mentioned. Nothing more than this. All you do, this is most important. I'm the center of everybody's attention. Everybody else is serving my agenda, my ideas, my thing. Then there's also a thing in the seventh chapter, mudas. Mudas. Yeah. What is the English word for muda? Fools, rascals. Do not surrender to me, since knowledge is stolen by ignorance, by illusion. So if you don't have knowledge, then there is ignorance, Maybe you have knowledge, but you don't use it properly, You have a car, but you don't go where it's supposed to be. You make accidents, or you go opposite direction, don't follow the rules, regulations, but still you drive it. But if you then don't have car, you cannot drive. You cannot go. So if you don't have knowledge, that means ignorance. So therefore, they have to act, but they act always opposite. It's not by accident you go proper way, If you go by car, you can go left or right. So left will be proper way, and right will be opposite direction against the rules or regulations. But you can go. But if you don't knowledge, then always you'll be wrong. This is such an important point. Ignorance, you don't accident act right. You'll always be wrong. Always be opposite. This is the main feature of the Tamaguna. 16th chapter. They say this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced by sex desire, has no cause other than the lust. Following such conclusions, the demoniac who lost themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works to destroy the world. So, if the Rajaguna is trying to create, the Sattva Guna is trying to maintain, the Tamaguna will be destroying all the good things. So whatever the person is working on the base of knowledge of Tamaguna, he will be destroying all the good things. Somebody comes to you and says, on the basis maybe on scriptures. And he says, well, Prabhuji, you have to do like this. But if he destroys your faith, if he destroys your good intentions, then all his help is completely opposite. Because he may learn one verse or something, some kind of rule and regulation, but because he is giving it in wrong mood, in an angry mood, and pushing, and maybe not listening or knowing what's your background, just on a frame of this moment, and with his own agenda, he'll be destroying, usually. So that kind of preaching, that kind of help, that kind of education is completely opposite to the good things. So therefore, this is an 80th chapter again, a little bit later, about happiness. That happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, said to be in a nature of ignorance. So laziness. Actually, proper ignorance, it means laziness. You don't care. You don't preach. You don't help anyone. You eat, and straight away when you eat full belly, you go sleep. And you wake up, then you can eat again. And then you eat, and then you can sleep again. So that's a proper, Unless you have to eat, there's no way. So because lower level of it is Annamaya. Annamaya, Pranamaya, these different levels. So first level is like a child. Then 2 months old baby, he do two things: eats and sleeps. Sleeps and eats, nothing else. And sometimes maybe he screams, but only because he's hungry. Straight away you give him food, he's happy and he's sleeping. Later on he starts kicking around, but first couple of months he does nothing. So this is quite a tamaguna. Although you are human body, but there's levels. There's periods in life which are also divided. So in the beginning, the first few months, few years are tamaguna. So then there is a brahmacharya period when you learn things, you advance, then you act. In the old age, you are supposed to be most sattvic of all your period of life because you learn, you have experience, and so on. So everything, periods of time, night, day, and evening can be also divided by different modes. Everything in the material world has those things. But sometimes they are helpful. Let's say in a kitchen, you have to cut vegetables, right? Everybody knows. To make sabji, you need to cut vegetables. So what happens? There is all three gunas involved. Because sattvic, recipe, something has to be done. So there's a plan, there's idea, there's subtle creation. And now you engage in a gross creation. So this is even transcendental, Krishna, hello. And then you do activity, you engage energy. So it's a little bit rajasic. And then there's a shape of banana or shape of vegetable, and you cut into pieces. So when you cut into pieces, original form is destroyed. So this is also destruction. Also destruction of things. So all three gunas are involved in creating sabji. Creation. So in order to create, you need to make something, you need to maintain temperature of the cooking pot. In the same way, don't go big flame and it's going to be burnt or not cooked enough. And there's also destruction. You destroy, Some dirty things in a pot you destroy. You destroy the shape of the vegetable you make in small pieces and so on. So all these things happening every day in the material world. But unless we try to get out of these three modes of material nature with the proportion, they're useless. Because otherwise, this is just karma. Anything you do without Krishna consciousness will be keeping you in the material world. So therefore, we have to understand that one of the important points is how knowledge can help or not help bhakti depends on which guna is. So which of these three gunas are most helpful for bhakti? What do you think? Sattvic. Why?
It's not helping us to live in the world.
Helping.
At least to come closer to the Krishna.
Sattva guna itself, how it helps? Give me a hint. I don't believe you.
We have tendency to learn from Shastras.
Learning.
Knowledge in the life.
Well, some guys sitting and smoking bidi, they also learn from newspapers. So how it's different?
Shastra.
Okay, the source. When you understand the sattva guna, that means you choose where to get the knowledge from. That's an important point. How else? You had something to say. Yeah, sure. I almost understand. Yeah. I have to agree. I have to agree. I'm not so proficient in Hindi, sorry. The principle is, yes, the sattva guna is also involved, first of all, in scripture, and you're not attached to the activity itself, based on things, And where you get knowledge from scripture or devotees, that's important. And not attachment. The proper sattva guna knowledge is teaching you not to be attached to result, which is also extremely important in devotional service. You want to do seva for Krishna, but you not get attached to that. Because you get attached to that, you think your work is more important than other devotee work. When the devotion, then the principle, I think there's, not in this temple, some other temple, but big donation come. Some, big donation, lakhs of rupees come, And then departments, puja department says, okay, let's make new dress for deities. And festival deities, let's make big flowers for next festival. And he said, no, let's build a building for devotees. And Krishna, no, let's make big feast. And everybody's pulling that thing. My department is more important. Devotion would be, okay, let's see what Prabhupada says. Let's say, better you take, I want to make you happy. That's important than money. So many things which are on the level, like borderline. And most important, we say, if we take different parts of knowledge, the sattva guna is easiest out of three to engage in devotional service. You can engage even tamaguna, right? As we said, in the kitchen, to make a sabji, you have to destroy, cut the form. So, even though as Prabhupada's example, this drunkard, he came to lecture and he stole the paper. He stole the paper and he brought, drunk, like, oh, okay, there's paper for you, paper towels, tissues. And he gave, and Prabhupada accepted it. But sometimes it was more difficult because there was one big donation, but he knew, I think it was Italy or somewhere, that this guy who donated, he was mafia. He was getting his money either from drugs or from killing people or robbing banks or something like that. Prabhupada didn't touch even that money. He said, oh, put it in the donation box. He didn't engage. Such a way you purify something by straight away giving to deities or other devotees. You don't say, okay, I'm going to engage. So such a way you purify. So there's many different subtle things. So therefore, these things are important. Let's return a little bit to the beginning questions. You remember the questions? You marked it. Good. But without looking. Now we haven't asked without looking. So first thing is, can you make comparison? I will ask one question to each. For example, you. Can you make comparison of these three different knowledges? What's the main point? First, second, and third.
Knowledge in Sattva Guna sees every soul, every person same as a soul.
As a spiritual being. Right.
In Rajas, we see difference. We see everybody's different. We see bodies. And in Tamas,
you don't even.
We said that we are what we do, what we want.
Yeah, you don't even care about everything else. Okay. One example. You are part of it? No, you're not part of it. Okay, you're part of it. One example of Rajaguna, how it is expressing nowadays. Any area which is close to you, how the Rajaguna is appearing.
You mean that's related to the verse?
Yeah, related to today's verse. Today's knowledge based on Rajaguna, how it is appearing physically in your experience.
In experience.
Your experience. You experience. You remember. Oh, this was person acting on the basis of Rajaguna knowledge.
Okay. I've done today. I visited the mandir. Yeah.
Oh, today, yesterday, last year. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would say visiting the museum of Prabhupada and seeing the people going quickly and not reading the story, but just or taking photos, for example, just with I don't know.
So they are not really interested in the meaning. They just want to, take photo and bring it home. I was there.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that. Yeah, external things. I'm body. Prabhupada is body. They don't care about mission, what he's doing.
I was
like that.
there, but
yeah. I was there.
Even read or
You see, I was there.
But I don't want to judge that.
Yeah, some things. Okay. So important. So, and the third question would be, what is the helping point or contradictory point how this Rajaguna is interacting with bhakti? It's good, not good. Why good? Why not good? Is it helpful? Is Rajaguna knowledge helpful to bhakti? Okay, why it's not good?
Because they want bring the individual to the higher level.
Bringing?
To the higher level, level. Not that.
Not bringing. Yeah, Rajaguna is not bringing to a higher level. Yeah. It's keeping on a level of body and interactions on a bodily level. Because spiritual knowledge would be seeing, okay, you are potentially devotee. Maybe you are in this body. Maybe you are in this mentality, even demon, you know. But Krishna, he is seeing every demon. He gives the liberation, you know. He gives to the Putana, who is the witch, who is killing the children. He's giving the position of the mother, you know, almost like a mother, like a nurse. So Krishna, he doesn't look on the body, he doesn't look even the mentality, you're demon or not demon, he gives the kindness. So the spiritual knowledge, which is actually even above the sattva guna, it is mercifulness. Classically, sattva guna is not so much mercifulness. It is teaching, yes. Brahmanas are teaching, but not because I'm merciful. It's my profession. I'm sattva guna, I'm teacher. You know, only Vaishnava, which is above Brahmana, is above sattva guna. He'll be having this knowledge of spirituality. Oh, this is a spiritual world. Everybody has to go there. All material creation is created for that reason. He will have different vision. So, what to speak of sattva guna, rajaguna will never help that. Because you'll see different people, different ways. You are Muslim, forget it. Muslims actually did that. They just sprinkled water on a Hindu and said, oh, you're Muslim now. And the poor guys, they say, I'm Muslim now. I cannot progress anymore. I better kill myself. You know? Rest of their life, I'm Muslim. You know, there was no backwards preaching. You know, you don't sprinkle different water and back from Muslim to the Hindu. No. Somehow the preaching of Muslims was so strong that you just sprinkle water and you become Muslim. That's it. You know? Or you don't pay taxes. You pay triple taxes if you are Hindu. So everybody other reason why people became Hindus. So this knowledge which Krishna is teaching us is only helping us to compare the situation we are now. But even if we perfectly know all these three knowledges, it still will not help to get out from material world and perform seva. So therefore, there is these four reasons of human being, kama, artha, dharma, atma, karma, moksha. And there's a fifth one, which is prema, love of God. So therefore also Bhagavad Gita is telling, okay, there is the three gunas, but more important, he's teaching, he's only finishing Bhagavad Gita and he's saying, okay, this is guna, is that in guna. But in similar way, like Vedavyasa, he was writing so many things, so many Vedic literature, but he was not happy. And then Narada Muni said, okay, come, I'll give you an idea. When you start writing exclusively about Krishna, exclusively about devotional service, you'll be happy. In similar way also, Krishna was telling this one and telling this one in this chapter, and Karma Yoga and Jnana, Buddhi Yoga and three gunas and so on. But finally what comes in the end of chapter? Sarva Dharma. Just forget all these gunas, surrender to me. So this is final thing of bhakti. So only that knowledge which is received through the heart of Krishna above these three gunas is really, really helpful, and this is what we actually have to look for. Otherwise, if we spend hours and years discussing and learning sattva, rajaguna, tamaguna, it's not going to help. Not going to help. This is still material world. Okay, let's finish on that. Any questions? Any comments? You're asking me Hindi. You're listening English, but you're speaking. You know that? Can you translate?
She can understand, but she doesn't know.
So if you want to ask, he will translate.
चाहते देखते ऐसे करके ना बोले तो मतलब ये तो शुद्ध सत्वगुण का बात हुआ ना, सत्वगुण में ऐसा कोई कैसे दिख सकता, वो हम समझे नहीं।
Okay, what's the quintessence?
जैसे मतलब कि आत्मा करके आत्मा परमात्मा करके उसके सुपर सोल है, सोल ऐसे करके डिफरेंट बॉडीज में करके नहीं देखते, उत्तर रजोगुण का बात है।
It takes a while to translate, you know, you speak one, and then you think another one, you think another, but to put through my language another one is not easy.
She wants a differentiation, comparative studies.
Mm-hmm.
Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamaram.
I didn't get the question. Okay, original thing is, first of all, we have to understand where these gunas come from. Because gunas is three. And these gunas, originally, everything comes from spiritual world. In the spiritual world, we also know there is a Sat Chitananda, right? Sat means existence. Not much happening, existence. So when these three gunas, see, original spiritual energies, they reflect on the border of material world, you know. It's like, Prabhupada says, like a water. There's a tree, and in the water you look, tree looks upside down. So, same spiritual energies of Krishna, Sat Chitananda, or Sambit, Sandini, and Hladini, these three energies. When they reflect the material world, they become three gunas of material nature. Which one is which, you know? Existence, Sat is Tamaguna. Chit is already passion. And Ananda, of course, is Sattvaguna. So these three original energies, they become projected, you know, reflected to material world, and they become three gunas. So therefore they're so strong. Without them, without original three energies, nobody can live. And because our consciousness is material, we cannot live without three gunas of material nature. So therefore, sometimes one guna is stronger, another one is weaker. You know, when we sleep at night, Tamaguna is strong. In the morning we wake up, start working, Rajaguna is good. In morning program, Sattva Guna is there. Hopefully, there's a little bit more than that. You know? So these gunas are always pervading our life. So without that we cannot do. And therefore it is helpful to understand our life. It is helpful, these three gunas. But still we have to side by side learn and also transcendental knowledge, because that will be actually based. Proper Sattva Guna is based on scripture. In scripture it means pure goodness. So when we apply it, then the better we apply, the closer we are to pure goodness. So gradual transgression. Yes?
Can I ask a question not exactly related?
Whatever.
What about, I think maybe you have heard the near-death experience, that people see a bright light and so on.
Right.
Is that a sattvic experience you would say?
Well, it depends how did you work in it during lifetime, because it mentioned people who are behaving not very good, they usually meet Yamadutas, you know, they're very violent, you know. So, for them, the death experience is not very pleasant. They are scream and they pass urine and everything because of fear. Because of fear. But people who have been living in a pure consciousness and sattvic lifestyle, for them passing away is peaceful. You know, there's one very obvious case of Russian monk, I think Orthodox Church. He was living so simple, like almost, let's say, like sattvic lifestyle, like a, you know, sadhu, and he was living in one place, and he knew when he's going to die. So he prepared the coffin for him, and he put it there, and he already took the bath, you know, and he said, I'm going to pass tonight, and he just took the bath, you know, put fresh clothes, and went inside the coffin, and he died. You know.
Who was that?
One monk, one priest in Russian Orthodox Church.
I see.
So if you know those things during lifetime, you are already seeing a little bit of a future. So close death experience means the closer you are to the knowledge of understanding your soul, there is no death, first of all. You know, when you go to the, you know, taking shower and you put new clothes, it's like painful? Not really, right? So the person who understands and behaves according to the laws of nature, for him it's natural, you know.
For most of the
But for people who try to work against the rules of nature, for them the life experience can be also very bad. But for devotee, even the most painful thing sometimes turns upside down. Like there's a Maharaj in Africa, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. He had a
Cancer.
extremely painful cancer. It's not like, he had a cancer in the bones, you know, all the bones, you know. He was feeling like no doctor can understand what kind of pain he was feeling. But he was crying out of happiness, you know. This is mostly because that pain gave him the most strong push to surrender, to last moments of life, completely surrender to Krishna. So that's also experience as such is how you translate it, how you look at it. Because any situation in our life is not determined by the situation, but by us, how we look at it. So you can look from this side or that side. You know. I was one time in Germany sharpening the knives, you know, in the kitchen because they were so dull, you know. You cut the vegetables and the cook came and said, no, don't do that, don't do that. The young devotees will come and will cut the fingers off. So, sharp knife, you know, what to do. So, any situation, death experience can be, and if you are kind of reflecting, you know, retracting from the body, so it is a yogic process. You actually are so small. So from that point of view, you can see that you're moving out from body. So many channels or nadis, they're actually from the place we are sitting, the soul is here. Super soul is here and soul is here. So it's moving out. You can move from that side, you can move this side, and there's many. Ideally, you move this side. So that small tube where the soul is moving, sometimes you see its head light, sometimes it's white, sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's like very red or blue, whatever. Depends on which direction you're going. So sometimes it is said, don't go. Stay here better. Yeah. So now death experience means it is possible. I had near-death experience myself, but not because of dying, because of freezing. It was winter, December actually, and in our country December is quite cold. And we had a student party, dancing Christmas party. And it was snow around, and when you're moving it's so nice and warm. But when you go back, we had like 40 kilometers to go on a train back to the campus where the student houses are, and we missed the last train. So we had to wait in a train station for about 4.5, 5 hours without heating, December like that. And you are sweating, you're wet, sweating. So for 3-4 hours we're like sitting worse than the monkeys, and like so finally we get on a train, and train was, first train is not heated. It's just starting to work in the mornings. It was so cold for another 40 minutes, and then for about 20 minutes you have to walk, moving, things. So finally when I got in my bed, in a campus, I feel so relaxed, but at the same second I felt like that's a guy sitting, lying in a bed, and I'm outside. Because that situation was so terrible, I was like, oh no, it's not bearable, it's just useless. It was like terrible. And I was moving out, and I looked at myself, lying in a bed there. Cramps cold, Took another half an hour to warm it up, And like, oh, who I am, right back going on. So that was the best experience for me. So things like that happen. So you can move out of body. It's out of body experience. Some people meditate especially to achieve something. But you don't have to be so much endeavoring to that direction, because it's happened automatically sometime, earlier or later. Don't spend too much trying to things. It will happen. It will happen. Better think where you're going, because there's no point in endeavoring. Prabhupada didn't say, okay, let's train up on how to body experience. No. Try to experience, try to remember what is Krishna's world, what is real Vrindavan, what is relationship with Krishna, what kind of seva you're going to be doing. That's a proper meditation, what we are supposed to be more concentrated on compared to all the gunas and all the experience. So we try to experience already during this lifetime, we try to experience Krishna world. And we try to understand what you're going to be doing there. Unless you train up to do that, nobody expects you there. You come to temple here and you cannot speak English, you cannot do any seva. Who needs you? Right? Just like a fifth, in the car, there's a wheel number 5. It's rudimentary, no needed. So therefore, the more we read the books, like Krishna book and so on, we learn about devotees, how they're serving Krishna, we absorb that mood, then we come to Krishna's world, okay, I want to do this. This is my mood, this is my age, I want to do that. I already know the friends, I know by name all the cowherd boys and so on, Oh, that's Sudama, I know. Yeah. Oh, that's Balaram, It's like you're coming home. That's the experience. Okay, we are over time already, 6:20. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is that?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.